A very good evening to all the delegates here. It's a great pleasure to have you all today as we celebrate Better Speech and Hearing Awareness Month. We are delighted to recognize this month with Isha Bengaluru chapter. We are honored to host you all for this event. The topic of discussion for today is a voyage from multi to transdisciplinary therapy in children with special challenges. A rendezvous with experts in an Indian context. We find you all so perfect as you come with immense experience in your fields. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation and joining us today. We take this moment to welcome you all with great joy on behalf of Samatva Foundation. Today we have esteemed dignitaries on the panel, Ms. S. Soumya, Senior Speech Language Pathologist, co-founder of 5 Therapy Services. We welcome you, Soumya. Dr. Kavita Jangam may join us. We are awaiting her presence. Ms. Srinitya Rajesh, Superintendent Occupational Therapist, NIMHANS, Bangalore. We welcome you, Srinitya. Dr. Selva Ganapati, Senior Physiotherapist, NIMHANS, Bangalore. Thank you for joining us today, sir. We welcome. Ms. Malika Ganapati, Consultant Special Educator in Inclusive Schools, Chennai. Most welcome, ma'am. We are so excited to have such eminent professionals with us today. Our heartfelt welcome to all of you. Smart, sustainable, and inclusive growth is the sine qua non for the developed democracies today. There is growing recognition that new approaches and different types of expertise are needed to renew science, and one such concept that is being increasingly used worldwide is the transdisciplinary approach in clinical practice. Transdisciplinary is the newest buzzword in rehabilitation. Generally accepted approaches are interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary. However, there has been a recent shift toward the recommendation and use of transdisciplinary teaming, particularly in early intervention settings. TD, otherwise known as transdisciplinary approach, turns teamwork on its head, breaking down the walls between disciplines and provide a holistic treatment plan for the child and family. The purpose of today's panel discussion is to bring awareness and give insight into the transdisciplinary approach to the professionals in various disciplines in early childhood intervention. The panelists will highlight the kind of service delivery models in clinical practice in Indian scenario. Without any delay, we would like to begin with our questions to the panelists. Megha?
Thank you, Neeraja. I would like to pose the first question of today's discussion to Ms. Soumya. Ms. Soumya, can you define the terms multi, inter, and transdisciplinary? How are these approaches different from each other? Is transdisciplinary team building a sine qua non? Over to you, Soumya.
Okay. Hello, good evening, everyone. First of all, I want to say thank you to Samatva to even think about this topic and bring it up, because it's a really need of the hour conversation that we need to have, and it's something that all of us as professionals need to start really trying to incorporate in our everyday practice. So the terms are fairly self-explanatory. So if we need to talk about multidisciplinary, it is multiples, right? So you have, in the context of services to children, families of children with special needs, earlier on what would happen, or often what still happens, is that you have speech language therapists, you have occupational therapists, you have physiotherapists, you have special educators, you have psychologists, and any child and family with special needs, requires all of these services. And while they do need these services, often these services are available at different places. So they go somewhere else for speech therapy, they go somewhere else so while they're getting all of these services, it is at different sites, different places. So they are getting multiple, inputs from multiple disciplinaries, from multiple professionals, but it is not linked in any way, right? So that's the multidisciplinary. So you have all the services, all the therapies available, but they're really not interlinked at all. when you look at inter, so the name itself, suggests that it's interdisciplinary. So when these different professionals start to interact with each other, which means it could be over a phone call, or it could be even if it's within the same center, you have a speech. Now there are a lot of interdisciplinary centers, which itself is a very good, progress for us. Sorry. So when the speech language therapists and OTs and psychologists and social workers and all of these professionals recognize that we are working with the same child, right? Ultimately, it's one family and one child, and all of these, services are aimed at helping this family and this child. So when the professionals begin to interact with each other and say, okay, what are you doing? Okay, what are you doing? That becomes interdisciplinary. So there's a lot of interaction between professionals and disciplines. Now comes the next one, which is transdisciplinary. While it is a new buzzword, it has been, since 1960s, it's something that's already been discussed a lot. Since 1997, all that ASHA has already, which is the American Speaking Association, recognizes it as, best practices. So when you're talking about trans, you are basically removing boundaries. So you are beginning to think of everything holistically. You're looking at it as a whole. So that's where you begin to put the family as priority. You begin to put the child as priority. So it's a very family and child-centered approach, where all the different professionals working with this family and child recognize that they are the main and they're the core of the team. So they become an integral part of the team. In multidisciplinary, what happens is that the family goes to the therapist, you have a discussion, there's an assessment done, there's goal setting done, and then each of the therapists helps the family on how to move forward, right? Yes, there will be interaction between the family and the therapist. They will get inputs and, home programs and all of that. But then there's really not, often there is not enough involvement of the families apart from going back and working on what was prescribed to them. In interdisciplinary, again, yes, there is a lot of interaction and communication between the therapists, so the families understand better that they're getting the same kind of information from most of the professionals, so they understand that better. When it's transdisciplinary, first thing is that the family becomes core, they become the center of it. So right from assessments to deciding on goals, to deciding on progress, to deciding on what needs to be done, the family becomes the core and the center of it all. And the other professionals realize that at any given point of time, it is not physically, financially, logistically possible for a family to avail all these different services, right? So that is where then we realize that at a given point of time, a child might possibly need more of OT, or at a given point of time, a child might need more of speech and language, therapy. So let me use an example, right? So in our practice, and it's a very common thing that most often families, when the child doesn't speak, is when they start to panic, right? So the child gets into school. Sometimes it's as late as that. Child starts going to school. The school realizes the child's not speaking enough for admissions, or the family realizes that okay, he's already 3 now, he needs to get into school, but he's not speaking enough. And then the child brings the family brings the child to us. And then as speech and language therapists, if I look at it only for my purview, which means as a single disciplinary, I say that, okay, the families come to me for speech therapy, I provide speech therapy. But if the underlying reasons for the child not developing speech and language therapy, there are other underlying reasons. Right? So when I have all the team members with me and I'm able to communicate with all of us sit together and recognize this family's needs together. There is no professional ego saying they came for speech therapy, so I start speech therapy. You look at what the family's needs are, and what the family needs is occupational therapy. So maybe that's your starting point. But the family needs psychological intervention, and that's the starting point. Having said that, doesn't mean that the child will not get speech therapy, some speech and language stimulation. Anytime that you're working with the child, whether it's an OT or any other profession, they're communicating with the child. They are interacting with the child. We are using, helping with language development. So that is where it comes. So there will be one co-professional, but every other professional will give their input saying, while you're working with this child, maybe you can, communicate in this particular way. While you're working with this family, you could use these, coping strategies for this family. So there is a core member of the team who will start working with the family and who will be the primary, caregiver, service provider for this family. But every other support service will give their inputs. So it's not that the child is only getting sensory integration therapy. While he is getting that from an OT, there are inputs from the speech therapist in terms of how can the OT contribute to communication and language development. There is, there's inputs from the PT, there's inputs from the psychologist in terms of how to work with the family. So transdisciplinary is really one where everything comes together, right? So it's there's communication, there is, you are talking to each other. But when you look at transdisciplinary, it really puts the family and family's needs core. You realize that at a given point of time, the family probably needs one particular service, in depth. And every other professional will share their knowledge and skills so that the family is not missing out on everything else. And as and when the child's progressing and ready, we will decide who is the next professional who needs, or what is the next service that the child needs, or if the child might be taking 2 services at the same time. So that is where transdisciplinary really makes a progressive advancement, and that should be the way forward, because the family often gets missed out, and it's so overwhelming for them. It's not something which is just a 3-month process. It's a fairly lifelong need some kind of professional support at any time. So making the family the primary focus, having shared goals, all the professionals having shared goals, a single objective, open communication, that really makes a big difference, and that should be the way forward.
Thank you so much, Soumya. That was so clear. Inter, multi, and trans is the hitting point now, and we'll kind of build up the discussion over the same to go on. All right. Okay. I would like to pose my next question to Ms. Srinitya. What is the role of every member in the team, and what is the knowledge the team members need to possess in terms of assessment, documentation, cross-disciplinary collaboration, and sharing of knowledge? What are the benefits of professional collaboration in transdisciplinary approach? Ms. Srinitya, over to you.
Yeah, thank you for the question. See, as already she has told a lot about transdisciplinary approach. It is a framework for allowing the team to contribute knowledge and skills, which is the primary thing we all have to understand. It has to collaborate with the members, collectively determine the therapy that would benefit a child. So the ultimate aim for us here is we are working for a child together. So we should be having open-mindedness, good communication, long-term thinking, and adapting to the situation. This is very important. And this requires the team members to share roles systematically across and cross discipline boundaries.
Yes.
Is what I'd like to tell. And then when you talk about the roles, there are a lot of things like role extension, role expansion, role release, role support, role enrichment. Here, role extension is the discipline specific. I know what my role is in the team, specific to myself. When we talk about role enrichment, it's the awareness about, like now I'm getting to know what a speech therapist does more clearly, what a physiotherapist does, what a special educator does. I understand from them what exactly they are trying to do with the child. When we say role release, we share. This is what we share our knowledge. We share our knowledge with each other about each domains. And role support. Role support is when we give hands with each other. Our target is to help the child, and we want to work for the child in their developments. For example, I could say, suppose I walk inside, a clinic or a place, say in the hospital itself, I can say, where I walk inside the ward. I see the child, drinking a cup of semi-fluid, a thick fluid, okay? Not a thick fluid, I can say a thin fluid, okay? So in the team, I have already discussed with the speech therapist, physiotherapist, special educator. We had a plan of what exactly should be carried on for the child, where I would be present there to know exactly what we are carrying out. So when I walk inside the ward, I understand the child is drinking a thin fluids, which is not the right thing for the child, according to the speech therapist when addressed. So what I can do here is, I can always request the family member to change the consistency of the fluid, thickening. And also, I remember that she was talking about the chin down technique. So I can suggest the family member again, telling that I remember that the speech therapist here, when we were with the team, has advised you to use this technique and this kind of a consistency fluid. So why can't you use this? This makes sense. And I'm trying to help out, taking a different role and telling the person, telling the patient that you do this, telling the client, you try to take a proper treatment technique from the person. Doesn't mean that I'm cross doing things and asking to do a different thing from my arena. This is what a transdisciplinary approach basically means. So I understood. I'm sharing my fellow colleagues' treatment plan as mine, and I'm trying to help out the client, which is the basic motto of the therapy also. So this is what we wanted. Yes, am I audible? Am I audible?
Not very clear.
Clear?
Yeah, this is better.
Yeah. So here,
The
what we do is, so what here happens is that basically we build the trust and we have a mutual respect between the disciplines. So as a member of a team, we expect the same from everyone. There see, no profession is higher, no profession is less. We all work. See, there could have been, I always, when this transdisciplinary approach, when we're talking about, from the day I was thinking for this particular webinar or meeting, whatever, I always thought, see, it could have been a one particular course telling that neurorehabilitation course, where we read little about occupational therapy, little about physiotherapy, little about speech therapy, little about special education. It is not that. We have some specialization in each field. We have done a lot of techniques. We have learned a lot of techniques. So no therapy, no profession, no discipline is either high, neither low. At the same time, end of the day, we are working for the patient, which we should remember always in our mind. We are working for the development of the child. As a medicals, we are working for the development of the child. We are going to work for the betterment of the child. We are going to give the child independence. We are going to give the child life. That is what is the ultimate goal. So in that respect, if you take, I can always help out the other therapist who's not present there. Like I said about the child, feeding time. When I have gone there and I've seen them doing the wrong technique. So I just suggest them, because I know that my fellow speech therapist has advised this and I was aware of this, I still can't see with my own eyes that something wrong is going on. So this is a role of every team member to have mutual respect and we involve in the team with their consent. And when we come to the assessment documentation part of it, what knowledge we should have is that we should have an arena assessment, right? So in this, what we do is, we all are there. A child has come for an assessment. So one among us play with the child and do the assessment with the child, where the others be the observers. And then if I think that, no, my assessment is not enough, I want the special educator's detailed assessment, then I request her, ma'am, you can do the assessment in detail because I want your assessment also, because sometimes we don't know whether the intellectual ability of the child is because it is inbuilt from the beginning, it has been there, or academically there, or recently it is developed. I want to know the difference, how, when, what. So I want the help of the other member of the team to assess the child in detail. So here, arena assessment plays a role in the transdisciplinary approach. In this arena assessment also, we have some 6 steps which we could follow. Pre-assessment home visit we can do. Pre-assessment planning of meeting we can do. A post-assessment review meeting we can do. Report writing and debriefing. And when you come to documentation, documentation, I feel, is very, very important. And connected with this assessment, I always see each one of us will be having a special assessment. I have a different assessment. Speech therapy has a different assessment. Physiotherapist has a different assessment. Social educator has a different assessment. So we should frame the assessment in such a way that one paper should contain all the assessments, where what I am doing and what I am writing the report of that particular child should be known to the others. When we come this, I'm talking in terms of transdisciplinary approach. So when we write the report in this assessment, where other discipline member also can see, they have also the idea of what I am doing, what I have the idea about what we are doing. Just because I came to know about the speech therapist feeding technique to that particular child, I had an idea that the mother feeding is wrong. So I could correct the mother, telling that please use a technique what your speech therapist has told you. Right? So the assessment format which we would use for this particular transdisciplinary approach, I prefer a format where all of us have a small columns, not in detail, but still where the other discipline could easily understand. And especially when we document, the documentation should contain referral for service, progress notes, daily contact notes, quarterly note, evaluation report, consultation note, the intervention plan, what as a team we are deciding for that particular child with particular target for that week or the quarterly week, however it is possible for us. So when we do this kind of documentation, it helps the child and for us also to work for that particular target, what we planned for, the treatment plan, right? And when it comes to cross collaboration, I always feel that we should have a group cohesion, shared mental models, and especially in a simple term, I could say that we all as a disciplines, therapists, medicos should understand that there's nothing, we never have to have an ego between us when we work with a child. In a very simple term, the only ultimate end of the day, we should understand that we should have satisfaction. I've really helped a child with disability or special needs. I have worked with a child. I have done something for the child in collaboration with the other team members, where the child and the family members are benefited. See, for us, the child is one among the 10. We don't know the problems of the parents, what they face when it comes to us. And especially this pandemic, we all know what all the families of these special educated, special children, how much they face. Every day, they don't know which discipline to go, where they have to go, which people they have to approach for therapy. They get confused with multiple therapies. So they should know what exactly they're supposed to do with the therapy and where they have to approach, so that one person takes the lead role with the mutual consent and with mutual respect, without ego, to work for the child in a better way. And if you talk about the benefits, there are a lot of benefits. There are a lot of, there is a lot of disadvantages also. When we talk of the benefits, we can say this transdisciplinary approach by itself is a holistic approach. Okay, there's a clear understanding of what exactly we need from this approach. And I could also say that with respect to the service sufficiency, it has been argued that more children can be served because of fewer providers routinely see a given child, instead of each child receiving direct assessment intervention. For example, I can say there was a child in this pandemic itself. There was a family, there was a child who had come for therapy. Okay, that was the minute that they came to know that the child had some, I think, neuromuscular disorder or muscular dystrophy or something. Now, imagine the state of the parents' mind. They are panicking. They don't know what they're supposed to do, which person to contact. They don't know whether they have to go to physiotherapist or an occupational therapist. They don't know occupational speech therapy, special educated, nothing. They don't know where they're supposed to go. So they're running here and there. Already they are frustrated. Already they're scared what is going to happen for the child. They're running. But when effectively in that neuromuscular clinic also, you also have a team already placed in NIMHANS kind of setup. We have a team, but places where there is no team, there can be one person who can take the lead role and explain the child about the possibilities, about the therapy, or suppose the child needs a special equipment. In that case, the child has to go to the social worker. As a team member, I have a social worker in my own team. Why can't I refer my social worker instead of child has to run here and there for a social worker for the particular equipment in that panicking situation? So ultimately, as I'm continuously telling, when we have respect for the patient also, respect for the discipline also, there is a lot of benefit we could give them. And TA's constants are less intrusive. It's because parents only need a build one key relationship with us. They need a build one key. And often only one service provider visits the home, and this enhances and streamlines communication in a better way. So they understand what therapy we wanted to give them, what exactly they are undergoing. It is very clear with them. There is no confusion. Role confusion is not there. You go and say one thing, I say in another context. You know, when a person it's not a state of mind to understand properly itself the therapy. Each one goes and gives a different opinion, makes them feel bad. So this can be avoided, and this is one of the benefits of this approach. And fourth, the enter-based, it can be given as a home-based therapy where they cannot come for a setup to the institute. You know, it can be used as a home-based therapy. It's easy for the clients to take care of the child again. So I think these are the benefits that the transdisciplinary approach people can give them. And this is new emerging, still on research and still on process. We don't know how much still we can work on if you're more effective with this approach.
Thank you so much, Srinitya. We really appreciate the inputs and all the illustrations given by you and highlighting all the 3 C's of transdisciplinary approach, being collaboration, coordination, and cooperation between the disciplines and the mutual respect which is required. Thank you so much for that.